It is not the responsibility of the atheist to prove God does not exist. As a philosopher, you know that you cannot prove a negative. Try to prove that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
Okay, the disproof of the existence of Santa Claus goes something like this. Contrary to the questioner, this is not nearly as hard as people think it is. There's an old saw about universal negatives not being provable. Well, in some settings, universal negatives are provable, as a matter of fact. And when the questioner says it's not the obligation of the atheist to prove that God does not exist, this gets us into the whole realm of what's called burden of proof in debate. Who bears the burden of proof? Must the theist show the positive evidence for God, or must the atheist show the negative evidence for God? Well, burden of proof is all dependent upon the assumptions you bring to the field of inquiry. Now, I have argued that it's impossible to make sense out of scientific procedure, moral absolutes, human freedom, the laws of logic, and other things of that nature. It's impossible to make sense out of them apart from the Christian theistic worldview. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but just follow the argument. From that standpoint, everything that is knowable is proof of God's existence. And therefore, the burden of proof would be on the atheist. The burden of proof would be on the atheist to show that he can know anything and not rely ultimately upon a God who makes nature uniform or makes concepts possible or the laws of logic or moral absolutes. Now, Santa Claus. Okay. Since I have shown the transcendental, I hope to have shown, I don't want to be arrogant, but I hope that I have shown or sketched how you could show the necessity of God's existence. Now what we need to do is to go to what God himself tells us about the nature of reality, and the attributes of Santa Claus conflict with what God says no creature has. No one is omniscient but God, ergo, no Santa Claus.